Hello, my amazing artist. Today I want to talk to you about a neat art form that's been around for a while, but I've just recently gotten into and am really enjoying it, so I want to share it with you. It's called Zentangle. Starts with the letter Z, and it's an art form that's based in art with patterns. You'll see a few pieces that I've made, lots of different patterns, all within a circle. There's even many artists who come up with different patterns that somebody could use in Zentangles that I have here as idea sheets. But the thing that I want to talk to you about before we talk about how to make art is why. Why Zentangle? So here's a couple reasons why. Art, as we've talked about before, has the building blocks, the elements and principles of art that we learn to use not just in this project but in others, as well as it has benefits for your mind and your heart. So I'm going to draw a heart here. And then I'm going to draw our building blocks here. So Zentangle, the building blocks is it has the elements of line, shape, and the principles of design that are pattern and contrast. Contrast is when we see differences. An artwork has a lot of contrast where you see the differences between something. In this specific artwork, we're going to see differences between what is dark and what is light, between the black and white of the artwork. Patterns is the repetition of something that is the same. And in a pattern, in this work, we're going to be repeating shapes and lines. But let's talk about why it's also good for your heart and your brain. Zentangle is an artwork that repeats to help decrease stress and relax. When an artist is creating a Zentangle, it's not something that they're going to do by talking to a lot of friends, having loud music, and having a big party. This is something to do very quietly, maybe off by yourself, and find that as you gradually start repeating a pattern, your mind starts to unwind and not focus on maybe things that might be having you worried throughout the day, schoolwork, stuff going on in the world, different things that might stress you out. And instead, you have a moment of time where you're working on this artwork and your worries go away. And that's a form of meditation. Meditation is what people can use to help focus their mind on something that is positive and not causing stress or anxiety to their heart and mind. So that's what we're going to be doing today. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to be practicing. So I have these little cards, and each of you are going to get a cup. You'll notice that I have a fine tip marker as well as a black ink pen. I also have a pencil. Each of you will have these supplies if you're here at the school with me. If you're home, I want you to use the supplies that you have. It might be an ink pen, it might be a pencil, it might be something else. So I'm going to trace the cup because Zentangles are a great way to begin in a shape, or that is a great way to begin. Then I'm going to start dividing my circle into pieces. Again, I'm still using my pencil. I'm going to be dividing it into different sections, whether through straight lines, curved lines. Again, you can use your cup that I gave you, just to make something interesting. You don't need to have many different sections, but just enough to create some diversity and variety in your work. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. And I think I want to extend this one over here. Every time I make a line, I end up creating a new section. Now, I like to go over these lines. You can use that marker. This is a fine tip marker, so it's going to make a nice bold line. Then we're going to start looking at patterns. The pattern sheets that I have are also in your iPads, and you can look at them to refer to ideas to create. This work is small because the larger Zentangle work, because these are small detail patterns, the longer it will take. And I think this is a size that we can accomplish in class and use as our first practice. But if you find that you want to create multiple versions of a Zentangle, multiple circles, that's fine. So I've outlined my shapes, and I think I'm going to take this line over here. Now I'm ready for patterns. Maybe the first thing I'm going to think about is lines. And I can start with straight lines. So I'm using the gel pen because it creates more narrow lines. I may create lines over here as well, but I'm going to space these out more. This creates variety, right? Similar pattern, but different way of making it. But now I'm going to create contrast. If I start coloring in every other line with my black gel pen, the contrast increases between the black and the white lines. If I wanted to, I could go to this pattern sheet to look for ideas. I really like how this one is going up, 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 back, back, back. Those are simple lines that we can do. So I'm going to do up, 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 side, 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 up, 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 side, 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 and just keep going. You may also find that you enjoy doing patterns with circles. I certainly do. But any shape is a shape that you can use. Something I want to point out with contrast is how different things can make your work to look. Sorry, I stumbled on that. Black and white lines here, black and white lines here. But the contrast happens when I increased the thickness of these lines by shading in with my gel pen. You'll notice some areas here where I created contrast. Some areas look like a lighter gray area because I've used thin lines. When there are thick, dark black areas, those areas look heavier. It's nice to have a balance of both. So today, I want you to try new patterns. If you're more comfortable drawing those patterns with your pencil first and then going over with your gel pen or marker, that's fine. If you want to practice with your marker first and try some different patterns from here, that's great too. It's okay to mess up. I have found that if I mess up, maybe I'm trying to draw raindrops and I end up drawing a circle, well, then I've got a pattern of circles and raindrops, and nobody except you will ever know. This can be anything you want, but my goal for you is that it becomes something where you're taking the time to add a lot of details, a lot of different lines and shapes. Each section will have its own pattern. You'll notice that I didn't take these raindrops and dots over to another section, and I didn't take these lines into a different area because I'm making them have their own space. And maybe I want to add lines to make it look like they have shadows. I could work here all day, and I think that's the fun thing about Zentangles is you can just keep going and going and going. But now I'm going to let you guys get started. Trace your circle with a pencil, and then go ahead and start making your Zentangles.